Aries super full moon on October 7th. And it's going to square Pluto, going to conjunct Silver, which is going to the asteroid Silver mirror everything, reflect everything, and it's going to trine Icarus and Medusa. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Cosmic Insight Astrology. I am your co-pilot, Krisztina. If you're new to my channel, you should know I'm really invested in asteroids and also fixed stars as well. I have a good news. Finally, I found someone who helped me to format my books, and I erected a chart. And October 14th, I'm going to publish probably two books or perhaps maybe even three. One of them is Astrology Uncensored, the other one is Astrology Karma, everything about karma, and perhaps I'm gonna do a palmistry as well. So we will see. But I definitely would like to do as much as I want. I have 5 written books, so I hope you're going to enjoy it. All right, guys. Also, a little bit more about the 2026 forecast as well. So I did financial astrology forecast, which is between 120 and 150 pages for each individual rising sign. And it is helping you to learn actually financial astrology, explaining very shortly, but it does also how to invest and what are the platforms you can use and cold wallet, hot wallet, what is the difference between. And I'm going to give you, and I gave you actually global examples because the power going to shift between the East and the West, from the West to the East. So, many people going to move from the US. It's going to be a global an exodus, obviously. And, that's why I try to find similar, platforms or stocks in Canada, in Japan, in India, because my viewers or in general viewers on astrology platforms are not only from America. So I try to cater for everyone. Okay. So today we're going to talk about this full moon, and let me share the chart with you here. And I just want you to know at the beginning what's going on. And if you are visual, for example, then you are here and you are capable to see that the full moon going to happen at 14 degrees, 9 minutes in Aries, and silver, asteroid silver, actually, it's conjuncting with the moon, right? The sun is actually 14 degrees Libra. You also have to know from 15 degrees Libra to 15 degrees Scorpio, we have the burning way, the Via Combusta. The sun is actually in full in Libra, so it's very weak over here. And then we're also going to talk about the archetype of the moon, right? And we're going to talk about, we have in Sagittarius 14 and 15 degrees. 14 degrees, we have Icarus, and then we have 15 degrees Medusa, okay? This is two very intense asteroids. We're going to talk about them as well, even if it's a trine. Then, as you can see, the ruler of the moon is Mars. Mars rules Aries in daytime. And right now, Mars is transiting Scorpio, which is also his homeland. But Mars actually rules Scorpio at nighttime, right? So very strong. And it's 9 degrees, 49 minutes, and Pluto is 1 degree, 22 minutes. It's creating a square with Pluto, Pluto in Aquarius. And then actually it's an applying square because Mars is faster, a lot faster than Pluto. Obviously, Mars is a personal planet, while Pluto is an outer planet, right? And then actually it's a dwarf planet, got demoted, and then it's going to move closer. So it's an applying aspect. Why do we talk about applying aspect? Because this is very significant. It's really strong. Applying aspect always stronger than separating one. You have to understand that one as well. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about this, right? You see the chart, and I'm going to stop sharing right now. Okay. So what's going to go on? And let's see actually what's happening over here. And we can start with the Sabian symbol. You have to know the Sabian symbol, we always going to actually go up a little bit by the degrees. So it's 14 degrees, 9 minutes. So we always checking the 15 degrees in Sabian symbol. And the 15 degrees area Sabian symbol is actually an indigenous person who is weaving a ceremonial blanket, guys. So what does it represent? You always have to go and try to analyze the symbolism of the symbol itself. You know, like what this symbol represents. The blanket itself, it's safety and warmth. And because of the person is weaving a ceremonial blanket, it is something to do and repeating something which is tangible. So the person is creating something, it's a spiritual pattern, right? But that spiritual pattern going to actually, the consciousness is going to turn into something what is tangible, what we can actually hold on to. So, you know, the blanket itself, it's not a decor, right? It is something like an encoded pattern, for example. It's almost like a living map. It's almost like some kind of memory, some kind of prayer, because when you are weaving it, you know, like you're doing it slowly and you are very attentive, you're focusing on it. So you are doing some kind of prayer. It's some kind of spiritual law itself, right? The stitches itself, it's our intentions. And, you know, Aries itself, you know, I am and very, very bold and initiator. So it initiates something. It is a fire form right now because of the Aries sign is very fiery energy. It's not just we are having a spiritual moment over here. Actually, we're going to commit to something collectively, some kind of structure, some kind of oath, some kind of rituals, right? And we design that. So maybe you're going to become not only like, okay, you are a Buddhist, and right now you're going to go to the temple and you make sure every Sunday or every Tuesday or inviting a prayer group, you know, like this has to have some kind of long-term structure, right? And as I said, the blanket itself, it's warmth and it's protection as well, right? So somehow we are creating something collectively which is protecting others and us and warm us as well. So this could be very, very amazing symbol over here, right? So the repetition itself is going to become holy. So maybe it could be something with the war zone around the world. We are going to repeat maybe protesting and the repetition itself going to become a spiritual warfare, right? It is something to do for the oppressed. Um, and the protection, the blanket itself, it's going to give us a shield against the winter, against the cold, against the evil, right? Against the chaos itself. And also it is almost like a shield, you know, like, and even if it's a blanket and it's not like uh, an iron, something what you can hold in front of yourself and you are actually bulletproof, but somehow the spiritual meaning of it gonna save us from the evil, right? So that's what's happening with the Sabian symbol over here. And why we are doing it, we're gonna enjoy it because this is something which is art and craft at itself as well. Maybe you're going to enjoy to cook food for the homelesses. And you know, actually, I saw something. I hate TikTok. I really hate it because I don't know how to handle it. And it's always coming into my face, those load, whatever they are posting, and I just have no patience with it. However, right now I saw a TikTok trend, which is don't waste food. And because of that is the famine in Gaza, obviously, and some African countries as well. And, you know, It is like a new generation, Gen Z is actually showing to others, don't waste food, guys. Actually cook the food for the homeless or the oppressed, or help others and be compassionate. North Node still in Pisces, guys. And oh, by the way, I forgot to say that when I showed the chart for you, very important also what kind of planet is we traveling with the Aries moon. And we still have Chiron actually in Aries, and we still have Neptune in Aries. It's already in retrograde, gonna drop back to Pisces again, the final countdown in Pisces. But why the full moon happening? It's still the Neptunian energy. It's in Aries, so spiritual war, right? Or also, standing up, advocating. Neptune is the orphans, the imprisoned, who are imprisoned, for example, wrongfully. It is the one who are oppressed. The Neptune is actually representing the underprivileged, and in Aries, it's talking up for them. All right, so that's what's happening over here. And just check the archetype of the full moon over here. It sparks, it's super full moon. It is like I am, very Aries, independent, clean cuts, everything about ignition, initiation, courage, bravery, like the pioneer. Aries is the pioneer and the warrior of the heart, right? But the shadow of Aries actually is anything to do with selfishness and rushing and impulsiveness. Aries could be also inflammation and, my way or no way kind of situation as well. And very combative, very, 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 restless. And also, Aries is rules the face and the head, also ear and the eye, adrenaline. It's also rules the metal of iron. It is the first steps. It is immediate actions. Aries is actually reaction and not response. So that's what you have to know. And I always tell my boys, please don't react to any situation unless if it is life-saving and you have to escape, or, the flyant, what is that? Oh my God, I forget that reflex. But I gonna remember. But adrenaline. So when you have to run away from situation, but usually I tell them to respond instead of react, because reaction could be very intense and doesn't turn out most of the time fine. All right, guys. So what's happening during this moon over here? It is going to actually the moon going to trine Icarus, and Icarus is traveling through Sagittarius right now. Icarus is the um 1566 asteroid um, in our solar system, right? And Icarus is actually someone who is daring to fly very, very close to the sun. And instead of to actually learn humility, because of the father reminded him not to go close to the sun because of his wings going to melt, he didn't listen. So what's happened with Icarus? Icarus actually was the one who fall, and from very high spots. So in Sagittarius right now, and even if it is a trine is a Jupiterian in flavor, but because of it talking about a moon which is ruled by Mars, which is very active and very combative, and it squares with Pluto, we have to actually, accept some people who are aimed very, very high up, they're going to fall really soon. So it could be some kind of leaders, right? It could be also people who are, leading. What are they like? Oh my God, the warriors, the army itself, because Mars is the army, and they can actually get killed, or get out from position, fall out from position. because Icarus is some kind of rapid escalation, right? Because fly, 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 overreach, too close to the sun. You thought you can do everything. And then, okay, you're done and you fall from flower and you're done. And maybe even because of, it squares with Pluto and Neptune still travels with Aries, Neptune also prison, imprisoning people who committing war crimes. It could represent as well. And Medusa is 149, right? In our sky. That is the number of Medusa. And it's also travels through Sagittarius. It is in 15 degrees and 49 minutes, something like that. And it's trine the moon as well. But, Medusa is also the monster, turned to be monster, right? Because once it was the sacred feminine, but the Medusa story actually is did the Medusa get seduced or raped? So there is two different story about the Medusa. But anyway, got actually repelled from the temple of Pallas Athena and get punished. And if she got raped, and being punished for that, this is something very, very important to talk about because of what's happening right now around the world. It seems like we are punishing the ones, or they are punishing the ones who are actually didn't commit anything bad. Maybe they are talking and saying the truth. Maybe they were too, like naive to help others, and then they get suppressed, right? That's what's happening in the world. So Medusa got punished for something and driven out from the temple, from her house, where she was sacred and where she was actually saved, just because somebody actually committed some crimes against her. So Medusa didn't become, it is the victim, but somehow become and get punished, right? Even if it is the victim. So this is what's happening right now around the world. Something to do with, like shaming and some kind of dogma, propaganda crusades, and anything to do with gaslight and also rage right now. But battles are going to hit back right now. It's trining the moon, so it's gonna hit back. It's going to talk about the truth, even if the truth is taboo. It is going to actually calling out hypocrisy, and it's going to guard the truth somehow, right? So what's happening over here? We're going to transmute fury into teaching, and we're going to aim the arrow of truth without dehumanizing other people. We still going to say the truth. And even if they want to censor us, because if you look around and if you're watching the news right now, you understand the planter, right? And you understand they want to change Google search. They don't want you to say the truth. They censoring you. I am being censored, guys. My views went down to 200 to 300, which is ridiculous. I don't even know why I'm doing that. But I'm not going to allow them to make me quiet, because that's why they think, people going to give up because they're not gonna have patience. All right, the other thing is what I wanted to mention over here, asteroid silver. So the moon itself conjunct silver, and the moon actually rules the metal silver, right, as well. And what is the silver when it's shining? The silver itself, it's like a, a mirror, right? And it is reflecting back something. It's a reflection, right? So what's gonna happen with the moon? And during this moon magic, the moon is full. It's super full moon. It's very bright. It's close to the earth, right? And the silver asteroid is behind, and the moon ruled by Mars, which could be some kind of war crime, square with Pluto, something to do with, and square with Pluto is leaking out data as well. Okay, let me just stop because my son calls, and so let me All right, I'm gonna continue. I get a little bit distracted always, when you have teenagers and, drama with friendships and everything. So Martin just called back. All right, let's see what's going on and where have I? Okay, I was talking about silver. Yes, silver. So, silver is actually mirroring back something, right? And oh, yes, I remember. I was talking about Pluto square because of the moon itself ruled by Mars and squaring, and it's an applying square with Pluto, leaking out data. And guys, Mars is in Scorpio. Mars actually rules nighttime Scorpio, but Mars is actually Scorpio is also anything to do with taboo, sex. Actually, it's child traffic. It's trafficking. It's anything to do with Hades. Hades is kidnapping children, traffic children. It is something to do with the underworld, which is disgusting, and it is leaking out. And on October 21st, we're going to have one of the victims who apparently killed herself, but I don't think so. Probably they put her away. And her book is coming out from the Epstein file, Virginia's book. And I think she named a few people over there. Definitely Andrew is in it because she was shown pictures with him, Prince Andrew. So definitely that it's going to be a downfall of the monarch. And I told you guys, most likely, what's his name? Charles is the last one. Maybe even William could go for a very short time because Charles is soon going out. I'm most likely in 2025, but I don't think so. The monarchy going to stay still, so it's gonna begin. Okay, but so the moon itself, it's showing. It is like they not even recognizing there is a mirror, a reflection, and it's actually showing their disgustingness for the world, right? The reflection we can see. All right, so leaking data, definitely, right? It is a projection also. It's projecting something out as well, but it also representing maybe we need to polish our mirror as well, right? Maybe it's not clear what is behind the moon over there. So we will see what's going on, but definitely the clearing the mirror, I'm talking about that like make sure you are whatever you represent, you stay authentic with it, or clear your mind or clear your words, the way you talk to others. And as I said, the lunar of the lunation is Mars, right? And it is the nocturnal domicile, right? Because it rules at night, Scorpio. And it is very surgical and really magnetized, very powerful in Scorpio, right? And it is focusing on forensic things. For example, we will learn a lot about, like, okay, there was some kind of cases, some kind of trauma. They for example, imprisoned people in the past, and the forensic is coming out, and right now they're going to imprison the right person who actually committed the crime, and allowing the one go free who actually maybe served 20 years and was not the one who committed crime. Excuse me. Yes, so this is, and Scorpio, Mars is also everything to do with sexuality, power as well, but the shadow power, that is the shadow government, that is the ones who is behind the screen, and they are actually puppeting, and for example, all the leaders are the marionette for them. They are not seen, you don't know necessarily their names, and also Mars in Scorpio could be something to do with revenge. It's very vengeful. It's really stalking, obsession, It could be also something to do with paranoia as well, and it could be something to do with public paranoia. Very dogmatic, right? It's also because it's rules to eliminate the toxins from the body through, you know, defecation. So it is like also going to eliminate toxins, eliminate parasites. And I'm talking about symbolism over here. Parasites are the ones who are taking advantage on 99% of us, that 1%. So it could eliminate them, right? Um, and also the square to Pluto, and it is an applying within 8 degrees, right? But we were talking about that. That is also if you are, see that, for example, weather related, right? Let's see weather over here. Pluto in Aquarius, it's phoenix of power for humanity. The power belong from us. And people going to realize we are being played. You know, sometimes when I'm looking at the world, I am like, oh my God, we have no way to coming back from here. This is terrible. But I still have hope in humanity, and I still think, together we're capable to create a change. And it is just like if you are not blindfolded, if you are not binding yourself, if you are capable to take off the blindfold and go and behind the propaganda and really try to think, then I'm telling you the dragon is going to be awakened, right? Because phoenix over here, it's also the bird, the phoenix bird. It's rebirthing through pain because it squares with the moon ruler. So it's not going to be some kind of easy rebirth for humanity. It's going to be like, because of the power, the Plutonian power wants to win for all cost, right? And it's cruel. But because of the moon is representing the collective, and Mars, the ruler, is actually in also rulership in Scorpio, it is like, okay, we're going to oppose that power. We're going to oppose surveillance. Pluto in Aquarius, surveillance, want to monitor us, want to create digital ID, right? And that's what it means. We're not going to take this anymore. And we can actually detox some kind of bad habits during this time, right? And get rid of this kind of, blindfoldness and, mind it. Actually, the moon is in 14 degrees and Pluto is in 2 degrees. So it still creates some kind of sextile. Obviously, it is separating and also it's very far away, right? Because it's 12 degrees, but 12 degrees could be still considered to be a sextile. So the power gonna belong from the people. So I'm actually very happy for that. And it's going to be some kind of truth flash over here. People going whistleblowers, that is the truth flash over here. Can this woman can be stabbed? Well, she can if she got killed also, like others got, but or they try to, because I told you guys last time, I think they try to take her power away with suing her and not allowing to monetize her YouTube channel, and then she's not capable to pay for her lawyers. But or Tucker Carlson also, he's right now talking against Israel, and he's really seeking the truth. And right now, the series of 9/11, the five dancing Mossad members. So he's really talking about this. So those are the whistleblowers over here, right? Because Mars is in Scorpio is the investigators. It is the detective, right? And Medusa can gaslight everything. Medusa is like, okay, I want to talk about the truth because you committed something against me and I get actually punished for that, and you are wrong. And I'm going to gaslight everyone, and I'm going to make sure, like, everything is out in the air, and people can be on the street and protest, and you done. And this kind of power, this kind of um, you know wrongfully manipulation us, and lying to us for decades, it's done. We are not going to allow you to do that, right? And also, Pluto in Aquarius could be something with the grid, electric grid, for example, right? So there could be some kind of blackouts with Mars squaring during this moon or after this moon. It's gonna be active at least for 6 weeks, but maybe even until the new moon in Aries. But we're going to see some. Mars is definitely something to do with guns and bombs. So it could be like some kind of bombing going to affect some kind of electric grid, and communities or villages or towns going to be out of electricity, for example, right? So it could create that as well, definitely. And, because of Pluto in Aquarius and, the moon itself and Mars is squaring with it in Scorpio, it could be definitely there will be some kind of ceasefire negotiation, right? And that's what's happening right now in Cairo. And, like the Hamas multiple times obviously said, they want to negotiate. And don't take me wrong, I hate any kind of ideology. Anything which is suppressing another human being, doesn't matter what kind of ideology is that. It disgusts me. But in the other hand, there is, somehow I feel because Pluto, Mars square, there is not really gonna be negotiation. And also because of its trine with Icarus, and Icarus is falling over from power because aimed too high and kept going, going, going. And because Medusa is there as well, it is like the negotiations, or even if it's happening, that it's still going to be, like intensified the bombing, or and it's going to obviously cost a lot of civilians lives, right? It says there will be some kind of ceasefire, but it's not really until somebody falls from power. That's what's happening right now, right? And we can also talk a little bit about Neptune over here, because Neptune is traveling with this full moon, right? It is very early degrees. It's in actually retrograde, and when Neptune is retrograde, then it's taking off the rose quartz glasses. It sees clearly. It's not that hazy, right? And silver is with the full moon, and silver, it's the Cancer rules the metal silver itself. So there is like, okay, are we going to have clarity, or are we going to be hazy vision, like we're going to be light to again. But because silver is there behind the moon, and because Neptune is in retrograde and not hazy anymore, it takes off the glasses and it wants to see the truth. The public wants to see sharper, and spotting little things and putting together little information. That's what's happening right now. So this moon actually revealing, like what is behind the scene with whistleblowers as well. So yes, that's what's happening. It's going to create a lot of protest around the world. So we're going to see people out on the street protest against, genocide, against any kind of war. Or, maybe it is when we read the Virginia's book, we're going to be, okay, we need the Epstein file. We already know who is in it. I would think all the women, the victims, Marjorie Taylor, whatever she said, she is not scared to release what the ladies know over there. And actually, she said, and she just did a statement, and she said, "No, I'm not suicidal. If anything happens with me, you have to move forward and you have to investigate my death." So this is big right now. Everybody is claiming, on social media, we are talking the truth. We are not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. You also have to know that, guys, because sometimes it's scary to say the truth, but yes, that's what's happening. So actually what's gonna happen, people gonna be on street because of Pluto in Aquarius. The power belongs from humanity, from the people itself, and Aquarius ruled by Uranus, and it is anything to do with chaos and social unrest. So we going to have unrest all over in the world, right? Yes. And Pluto Uranus, Pluto in Aquarius square with Scorpio in Mars in Scorpio, it also could become a military which is not based on countries, but on humanity or on the world. So if you have seen the news from the guy, what was that, the Colombian president, they actually initiated like, okay, let's have a military, every kind of nation going to send like 10,000 of people, and we go against that insane war, which is like way too much. It's 3 years already tomorrow, actually, when the full moon going to happen. And it's done. It's a genocide. It's terrible. It's what we are doing right now. This is going to be a shame and regret of humanity in 20 years. It is. And if you have children, guys, really your children going to question you. So when I saw Kelly, someone, Megan Kelly, she's so Republican. Actually, she's not really a Republican, but more like a Trumper, right? And she was really on the side of Israel, and she was not willing to see clearly what's happening. And I was like, okay, what I wish for you, I don't wish any harm on anyone, but I wish your children going to be your judge in 20 years. And perhaps maybe one of your child not going to talk to you because you were denying the truth, and whoever willing to deny the truth, that's on your soul, and you're gonna have a reincarnation, guys, and you're going to pay for it. I'm just saying that. So it's up to you. All right, let's see the solar weather, because Pluto is in Aquarius, and we're going to have also some kind of very active geomagnetic storms. So the aurora will be seen, and the what is that? The ray from the aurora are going to be very intense as well. And during the full moon, it's definitely going to increase. So we're gonna have G5, G6 kind of storms as well, and it could create blackout during this time, right? And also, what else gonna happen? Because Pluto in Aquarius is earthquakes, right? Aquarius is shaking, right? Tremor. But also, it could shake the earth. So something is rising from the ocean. Neptune still in Aries. Something is rising in the ocean. Aries ruled by Mars, which is volcanic eruption, right? Underwater volcanic eruption, which could create a new earth, a new land, a new island. But in the other hand, anything to do with volcanic ashes, which could actually somehow blur the vision, so there could be some kind of delay with traveling during this time, right? And also, it could be earthquakes as well. So we will see, but definitely that's going to be a lot of pressure right now with that kind of activity, right? And what else is going to happen over here? Yes, we will need to be careful with the energy grids, anything to do with gas leaks, anything to do with, because of Mars, Pluto square could actually damage some kind of nuclear infrastructure. They really try to create an other war with Iran, obviously, and it could be right now on the track. Icarus is there, Medusa, and even if it's a trine, two very evil asteroids and Pluto and Mars involved with a square, super full moon very close to the Earth, yeah, that's definitely could create some kind of, or maybe because of Neptune still in Aries, Neptune is drop quarter, right? What they are doing with Venezuela right now, it's going to create a backlash, guys. It is. They're not going to allow the bullies to bully all the time. It's gonna have backlash. And right now, obviously, almost like it seems like two countries against the world going to what's gonna happen over here. So we will see, but it could be really difficult. Plus, because of Aries is combat, and the NATO. I told you guys, it's investing $1 trillion in defense. So obviously, we can see something to do again, striking. Bombing or gun stack or things like that actually could definitely go up. Um, and the market, if we're talking about the market right now, during this time in the sky, we still have Saturn and Jupiter in exaltation trining. So obviously, uh, this could actually create some kind of stock going up like crazy. And Saturn is anything to do with submarine technology, right? So because of, I told you guys, war could happen underwater. It could happen with submarines, right? It could, do something to do with that it's the stock market with submarine technology, anything to do with Pluto in Aquarius still trining Uranus in Gemini. So that kind of technology planted, those are still going high up, right? Until Uranus gonna drop back to Taurus, because after that, it could be a little bit of setback. But on the other hand, we can have some kind of cyber attack as well. Pluto square Mars. It's a cyber attack, right? It is anything. That's what I'm saying. They are not going to be able to cover the lies anymore. Medusa actually is the shield for the survivors. That's very important, guys, because Medusa is got raped, right? Just like those survivors, and get punished for that. But right now, Medusa gonna be the shield for the survivors. So you know what? Is something with trafficking, with wartime, or anything to do with sexual violence, right? It is naming the monsters, right? That's what's gonna happen right now. So it is coming out sooner or later. Within 6 months, it will be out. There is no more buffer. That is done. So I kind of like that because of I still think Phoenix over here, Pluto over here, even with the square, going to help us to do something together when we can rise together, right? Through pain, through trauma, but we rise together. So I totally right, I love that. But before we going to be very, very angry, and after we're going to hold each other's hand, because just remember the Sabian symbol, we're going to practice some kind of spirituality, woven something together and focusing on what is ahead to create something which is warmth and which is covering us and safety. And Medusa is the shield over here, guys. Medusa is like, okay, the blanket is from me. I'm going to make sure those ladies are safe, or anybody who talks the truth are safe. So that's happening. All right, so let's go to each individual signs. And of course, I'm going to start with Aries rising, guys. And for Aries, it's going to happen in the first house, right? The full moon. And actually, uh, the Mars is going to be in your eighth house, and Pluto is in your 11th house, right? So what's happening over here? And Icarus and Medusa in your ninth house. I have to talk about that as well because it's in Sagittarius. So what's gonna happen for you? Your face, anything to do with your name, with your body, anything to do with your brand, the brand like me, it's going to go under a bright and honest light. Silver is there, so you have to scrub the mirror to see clearly. It could be a literal cleanse, you are taking a salt bath, or you're going to the ocean, or, you're doing some kind of lymphatic work or sauna with niacin, or, symbolically, it could also mean like you unfollow actually noises, like, okay, you change your bio, or, you get a new headshot or haircut, or, you changing your wardrobe, but you unfollow the noise, you're getting rid of people who are not serving. Pluto is in your 11th house, cutting out even, people who are on your social media tribe, right? So that could be, or it could be also like you are maybe going to publish a book, and it's going to say the truth as well. And right now, you are actually really focusing on yourself. Obviously, some kind of shared money and inheritance could come in as well, or you pay off debts as well. Your subconscious is changing. You can hire a shrink right now, get rid of some kind of friend circles as well, collaborate with others as well. And, maybe you're just going to cancel some kind of, like what you signed up. Uh, Automatically, and it's charging you constantly, and right now you are like, oh my god, let me check it out. I have subscriptions but I don't use it, and you just cut it out, right? Or you can rewrite a contract, for example, right now. And also intimacy wise as well, it could be something is draining you. It's not just emotions or money or something trauma from the past. Maybe you just don't want to have that relationship with your significant other, or just in general, and you have to clean it out. So yes. Uh, so definitely it could be, as I said, you can pitch a new platform, you can start a podcast, a new conference, you can start to teach, right? A new headshot, anything to do with, if you want to create a crowdfund right now, the energy from your eighth house, it could be like, all right, are you going to get that money to refinance and create a crowdfund or not? You have to be aiming for a little bit less, because Icarus wants a quick lift, but it could get hurt. And yes, it could be like you can rewrite contact. You can actually rewrite and pay off debts right now as well. And you filter your network as well, as I said. All right, Taurus rising sun and moon, it's going to happen actually in your 10th house, the supermoon. That's your subconscious. Those are underprivileged. That is, like hospice, hospitals, hotels, vacations in faraway countries, overseas accounts, for example. It's also rules that it is also addiction. So the silver over here, it reflects on you and showing, uh, things what you were not aware of. Maybe you have self-sabotaging behavior, but you were in denial, right? Maybe you eat too much after 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock or whatever. But, it is like, okay, right now you have to get rid of that much caffeine. You have to actually cut out the noise. So maybe you're just going to have a blackout curtain, because 12 house is bedroom as well. Take out the room, the phone out from the bedroom, guys, because it's very, very important, right? Or you can maybe do something in the bedroom, like you use rosemary or eucalyptus. You can breathe better, and you can have a better sleep. You can start to take magnesium to have a better sleep. You can actually identify right now hidden leaks, anything to do with, like even hidden enemies, because the moon is so bright right now and so close, it's going to show you who is your friends and who is the flaws. So it's going to show you who is actually stabbing you in the back constantly. So that's for sure. It could actually shine light, some kind of secret as well, And Icarus's Medusa is in your eighth house. It is trining over here. So, you can also handle a debt or some kind of share account very well. You also have to put some kind of boundaries with a significant other. Maybe you have a stalker, and you are going to report that to detectives. Eighth house is detective as well. It could be some kind of narrative of trauma as well. Maybe you had some kind of sexual trauma. We were talking about the Epstein file before. Maybe you are one of like that. And, it could be like, all right, I'm going to go to a therapist, and I'm going to make sure I'm not going to use numbing substances because I never talked about that. So right now you can get healed, and Medusa and the Sabian symbol of the woven blanket. Maybe you're going to have a spiritual practice which is helping you actually to heal this kind of trauma, right? Um, so Medusa going to freeze, uh, the addiction, and you coming out from it. Definitely that. And Mars, is in your eighth house and Pluto is in your 10th house. So definitely there is some kind of issues with, public standing, career, and between your partners and client. Maybe they don't want to share, or you don't want to share uh, the limelight with your significant other, or they are not supporting you and you are going up, up, up like Icarus, right? And they are like, oh, be careful, take it easy, and you don't listen, kind of situation could happen over here. Yes, or maybe you have a collaboration with someone, but somehow they just choosing you. I always, it's always remind me with that kind of America Got Talent or British Got Talent when there is two people performing, and one of them is the vocal, and the other them maybe is doing the guitar, and Simon is criticizing and says, okay, you are coming and going to achieve something for the vocalist, but kicks out the guitar player. So something like that. It's happening, like with the collaboration, right? One of you is going higher and there is going to be some kind of jealousy, right? Something which is like issue and conflict between the two. So yes, that could be, the way it can play out, it is like definitely for you because it's the 12th house, put out everything from your room, not to get bothered at night. It could be also something to do with like, all right, let me see what is draining my account, my spending habit. It's not okay, and I have to cut back. It could be also like you set up a plan how to pay off debts, for example, refinance your house, for example, as well. So that's definitely there for you. And you also have to put some kind of public boundaries, like people want to have you to answer, like maybe they subscribe to your channel, but they want a lot from you. And it is like, what, from 7 till 9, I answer emails, or I answer for my people who subscribe to my channel followers. But after that, I'm not willing to make myself thin because of, it's going to make me sick. So that is the public boundaries over there. Yes, and also shared money cleanup could happen for you guys, like maybe you're going to go on separate accounts right now, or just turn off auto pay somehow as well. And also intimacy hygiene, something to do with, like make sure, uh, you know, your reproductive system is healthy, or maybe it could be something with your reproductive hormones, and you need to maybe go to bioidentical hormones, something like that. Okay, Gemini rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your 11th house, the super full moon, and silver is there. 11th house, anything to do with your networks. It is your long-term hopes and dreams, your audience, right? Your friends as well. So it's going to polish a platform here and remove all the distraction in your friendship zone. So whoever was loud but not really there for you, they have to go. It is almost like a new banner you get over there. It's a new network you are getting, right? It is okay, work with me because I'm here and I'm capable to help you. And it's a really good symbiosis. You also can get actually some kind of career achievement money or bonus out from a career, right? It is it could be also like, okay, I'm gonna mute a lot of people or groups because of or group chat because I can't take it anymore. They keep sending me 50 chats. That's what happening with me. Nothing in Gemini though, but I can't take group chat. I mean, I just can't take it. And And you can also do that, like, all right, there was someone maybe, because of you have actually Icarus Medusa in the seventh house, right? And it's trining with the moon. It could be like maybe I'm going to have a new fans right now, VIP fans, or maybe a new mentor as well. But somehow I have to be careful who are they, because of they might not have you know, pure intentions. So be careful with who you're going to collaborate with, right? And then also because you have Mars in your sixth house and Pluto in your ninth house, it is have to be something with your daily routine and your health. Mars in the sixth house could bring in inflammation, right? Anything to do with, like accident or cuts. So careful when you are cutting something, or careful with fire, careful with electricity itself as well, right? Uh, but because Mars is in Scorpio and it's gonna move forward, so it's gonna move fast. So the recovery also could be fast, right? As well. So that's the good part of that. And and then, because the ninth house, also it could be like you wanted to travel somewhere, but right now you have to work so much and you have a lot of deadline, and you are not capable to go to that long-term travel, because of you cannot finish your work, right? So you are drowning actually from work and from deadlines, and you are stressed. And because of that, the mission with the ninth house traveling is going to get delayed somehow. So yes, the ninth house actually could be like a polish your platforms if you're doing YouTubing, or if you do some kind of TV series, uh, and the audience itself could be very um, um, not aggressive but critical, because it's squares with Mars, right? So it could be very critical. And Medusa itself, it says like, you know what? Let me see something over here. I need to freeze something. I'm not paying until it's not gonna be published something, right? I'm not paying for you before only 20% deposit, but don't even ask more money. Finish the work before I pay, because of, that could happen with you. Like you stop bullshitting around with people who try to help you with your audience or book publishing or things like that. Okay. And it could be also like you're going to start to be active, careful to pull yourself, because Mars is in rulership. So careful with heavy weightlifting, or overstimulate yourself. For example, Mars in the sixth house, but definitely your habit going to change, and you're definitely you're not going to multitask, because of it squares with Pluto, so it won't allow you that. And also because of Medusa is freezing everything. So it is like focusing on one thing, because otherwise, if I want, I can get hurt kind of situation. All right, Cancer rising sun and moon, it's going to actually happen in your 10th house. 10th house is your career, your title, your reputation, your name, authority figures, ideological, political ideology as well. Silver is there, it is the spotlight right now, the stadium spotlight for you, And silver is going to demand a clean professional mirror, something to do with you're going to swap from Vogue, and you're going to become really creative though. But it is something to do with I want to lead, I want to achieve, and I need a new headshot. I'm going to need to actually redo my bio. I need a new banner. I need, like some kind of new portfolio, anything to do even with investment. And It's really silver and the moon going to show you the do's and the don'ts for sure. And then it's going to trine with Icarus and Medusa, and it's in your sixth house, and it's going to lift up the shield for you. So, for example, the workflow, anything to do with the huge intake, what you need to do, it's somehow going to flow with your career really fine. And Medusa going to shield you from jealous. Colleagues as well. And it is like you're not gonna have any guilt trips anymore. You're going to do like it's also people can do quick favors for you because Icarus is quick, it's fast, and it's going to help you to achieve something in your career. Yes, or you going to answer quickly for everything, and that's what's going to make sure you achieve quickly. And Mars is going to be in your fifth house, Pluto is in your eighth house. There could be some kind of sexual tension, then some kind of issue with intimacy, maybe also with investment, because fifth house is investment, eighth house is stock market and bank. So there could be something with, you know, um, intimacy with your lover, but it also could be someone, maybe the lover is powerful, or, um, yeah, there could be some kind of. mm, forcing himself herself on you kind of situation, but also it could be something to do with child, and because eighth house is something to do with miscarriage and abortion. There could be some of you gonna have miscarriage or abortion, uh, or just get rid of a romantic partner you don't want to live anymore with the person. And shared resources and investment also could go under magnifying glass. There could be some kind of loss of investment. Mm. It could be also because fifth house is children, so the child care actually could rise right now, and the cost of the child care could actually put a lot of pressure on you. Um, so there could be that one as well. But definitely murky finances somehow, maybe something to do with a prenup. You are engaged and you don't want to actually, have a prenup, or the prenup doesn't suit you. Yeah, definitely what's happening over here, you can actually get rid of your ex account, or you're going to change account somehow. I feel like maybe you're gonna change ChatGPT and you're gonna go to Gemini, like deep change over here. It is also it could be something to do with mortgage, rewrite your mortgage, or refinance. And Medusa also, because Medusa is in the sixth house with Icarus, right? It could actually freeze an opportunity for you. So it could create a job opportunity, right? Or freeze your rent, because sixth house is rent as well, and maybe it's not going to rise anymore because of your city, your country won't allow, so it's gonna freeze the rents, and you're just gonna be happy about that. Yeah. Mm. There could be some kind of joyful risk, obviously, with Pluto Mars square, right? All right, Leo rising sun and moon, it's going to happen the ninth house, the supermoon, with silver, anything to do with travel, publishing, visas, higher education, legal matters, right? TV series, right? And it's YouTubing as well. And your belief system, you're going to be asked to say the truth, and you're going to have a new brand right now. And even on YouTube, you might going to start a YouTube channel, right? It could be also like you want to have a passport, an ID, something to do with traveling. Maybe you want to have a foreign exchange student to come to your house, or you buy a property abroad, or you want to buy a property abroad. And you have Icarus Medusa in your fifth house, something to do with creativity and romance. So you might going to actually have a second significant other coming in as a romantic partner right now in your life, right? And because ninth house is the second one. And it could be also like some kind of creative project can get published for you as well during this time. Mars is in your fourth house and Pluto is in the seven. It is a pressure cooker at home. It's something to do with your home family, anything to do with renovation. Renovation not going the way you want. Maybe you have to pay more money, you know, for the contractors, and it could be also some kind of issue with your significant others because you he or she wants to maybe invest less in the renovation, or maybe you want to buy a home, but you know you are not actually agreeing on the budget somehow. So yes, that could be an issue. And you know, because of that is happening in the ninth house, something to do with publishing, it's trining actually with the fifth house. So obviously that could be something. You can also have a conference, go to a conference, which is later on going to bring you money, or enroll in a get your doctorate or enroll in university, right? And getting a mentor, getting a new religion, but the religion is going to be really, really close to your heart, maybe turning back to something that you practiced when you were a little child, right? But you can start an art studio. You can have showrooms right now. It could be really, really good. You can actually do children's class, teaching children's for who has um, not native in the language, because it's language as well, the ninth house, right? Yes, or it could be like you may be not going to agree with your significant other if you want to have another child, something like that as well. But you can definitely get a passport or visa or citizenship in another country. Virgo rising, sun and moon, it's going to happen in your eighth house, and eighth house anything to do, and the silver gonna be there as well. Eighth house anything to do with taboos, sex, death, taxes, inheritance, shared accounts, prenups, abortion, miscarriage, intimacy, detective. That is your subconscious, right? So that is your energetic quartz over here, and silver one's purifications, right? It wants to actually get cleaned and from any kind of trauma, right? What's hold you back, or even literally, any kind of debts, credit cards debts. So it is like, okay, I have to cancel subscriptions. I have to make sure, I have a structure right now and paying off monthly something. Uh, and Icarus is going to trine and Medusa from the fourth house. So there could be someone from the home aiming really high, and you will have to break their wings, or you're going to actually not break their wings, but remind them, hey, your wing can melt, and they don't listen anywhere anyway. It could be maybe, an elderly in your family, a parent figure. Was no, I'm gonna live on my own. I don't need to go to a home or whatever, but they fell, and then they're going to regret because they need a hip surgery or something like that. And anyway, you have to put them in a home. So this could happen, obviously, or you you can also make something, because it's training with the fourth house, some kind of rules in the families, right? In the family. Which is like it has to be boundaries, it has to free something. Maybe the neighbor knocking on the door, or the neighbor children all the time, and somehow I'm gonna have to put a sign out or lock the door literally because my house is like everybody's going in and out, and I cannot take it anymore. And then you also have Mars in your third house and Pluto in the sixth. It is also something to do with your workflow and communication, or neighbors. The neighbors can constantly bother you because they are listening loud music, and you're going to have some kind of friction between you, some kind of conflict. It could be also conflict with maybe the dog barking, or your dog get out and the neighbor going to report you. So, right? So it could be something to do with neighbors, or also younger siblings, or nephews, niece, aunt, uncle. There could be some kind of health issue for an aunt, uncle over there, which could actually affect you significantly. Yeah. And then also there could be something with a writing project, which is right now delaying maybe because of you have to pay the editor, but you can because one of your pets needs medical attention. And yes, so that's what can happen for you, right? So it could create a home move for sure, or maybe you need an inspection, maybe you need to a new lease or new insurance right now during this time, or maybe you want to change the appliances in the kitchen and you want to have something expensive, but maybe you don't have the budget for that, right? So you're gonna have something for just temporary for 1, 2 years, and later on, when you will have all the budget, you will change it again, kind of situation. Yes, but it could also be some kind of tension at work. Somebody is gossiping, somebody is going against you, very combative, very, very uh, a fighter. And yeah. So Libra rising sun and moon, guys, what's happening for you? It's going to happen in your seventh house, the super moon and silver of partnership, romantic, romance, business, and clients, right? And there is also uh, love as well for you, so significant others, right? But it could actually, the full moon either is going to bring in an ending in a relationship or just project something on the relationship. The silver is going to show the real face of your significant other, right? It's going to show everything, mirroring, right? And seventh house, anyway, it's mirroring. And it is something to do with, okay, let's do a re-agreement. Maybe we have to do a revisit or wolves or renew or wolves right now. And Icarus and Medusa in your third house, maybe you have to have just an honest talk, right? Some of you aiming very high, the other ones wants to freeze. Medusa wants to freeze, Icarus wants to go. So there is like, okay, we need to talk about this. We need some kind of new boundaries between us. We need to put down in writing and follow through. This is our responsibility if our relationship wants to survive. It could be something also because of you have Mars in the second house, Pluto in the fifth. So both of them could be investment, money, anything to do with values and self-worth as well. And maybe your romantic partner doesn't really give you word of affirmations, and you don't feel valued. Or maybe there is a creative project you want to create, but somehow you don't have the funding for it because you always need to invest in your children and or finance your children as well. It could be also like your significant other going to buy you a beautiful, pricey gift, and you go like insane and you say, why did you do that when we have to pay off the debts? And you buy me a $20,000 ring. I don't need any more ring kind of situation. Well, you are Libra rising, sun and moon, like you like bling bling, but anyway, it could be the issue over here. Or it could be also like, some kind of rate is going to increase. Anything, if you didn't do a set, like APR and then it could swing up and you are like, oh my God, I might going to lose my house because it's not stable, the rate, and it's not fixed rate. And what's happening? I don't know what to do anymore. All right. So definitely you're going to need clarity with your feelings, and it's a request clarity and maybe written down. And some kind of rate is could raise like 10-15%. And it's not going to make you bankrupt, but definitely it's going to put some kind of financial pressure on you as well. Yes. Or it is something to do with your children. They need a lot of money. They're taking a lot of money for their hobbies. Scorpio rising sun and moon, my dears, what's happening for you, Scorpios? Everything is in the sixth house. The full moon is in your sixth house, and that's your body, that's your head, that is your work rituals, work routines, your tools, and that service for others as well. That is your real estate, rental property. That is also your pet as well. So what's happening over here? The silver says, you're going to have to purify something over here. You have to simplify your work. You have to simplify what you are putting into your body. Maybe you have to clean out your diet. No more pasta for you, no more gluten, right? It also like let get rid of caffeine or like anything. Sanitize your workspace because everybody is sick around. Um, and you have to tighten somehow your calendar. You not to be available for everyone. For example, set very, very strict office hours so you are not overwhelmed. And it is going to train with Icarus, and it is also going to train with Medusa in the second house. So it's going to be some kind of new skill going to be launched, and Medusa over here going to block all the shame around, for example, poverty. So you're going to have a different view about your money and how you actually handle finances. And it is also saying don't put all your eggs in one investment. Second house, right? Try to actually have a very, very diversified portfolio, for example. So don't take like crazy, mindless risk over here. And even if you're launching something new, and it could be like, okay, it is something to do with art, watch how much do you spend for, if you have a show, for example, an art show, you are a photographer, and how much do you spend on wine and cheese when you invite people? Careful with that as well. So it is just like, okay, you know what? Value is not necessarily equal with guilt over here if you think properly. And yeah, so not spending like crazy. And Mars is in your first house and Pluto is in your fourth house. So there is going to be some kind of raw personal drive, and it's going to collide with your family members. So it is, for example, you can fight with your mother. And my husband is a Scorpio sun, and they just had a fight with the mother, and he got very upset because, for example, my mother-in-law is lonely and by herself. She has 24 hours of the time, but husband always works. And, we have children and we have a lot of things, so cannot call all the time. So it could be something like that for you as well, guys. And, there it's going to need some plan. So, for example, maybe you're going to say, okay, 2 times I'm calling my mom, Wednesday and Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. You need some kind of disciplined action to actually solve this situation, right? And you have to put very, very strict boundaries also with everyone, because you want to achieve something, and the family can take over. They don't have boundaries. They always want something from you. Yes, you need quiet hours. You want to watch a TV, and they always out in the living room and watching TV, even if they have TVs in all in the room. Like do you just need some times on your own? That's definitely important. And it's also because of the moon itself in the sixth house. It is like you're going to reset actually some kind of health basics. You're gonna go to the doctor, you're going to have blood tests, like you're gonna say every 3 months or every 6 months, just get a labs or physicals. That's very important. How much water, your water intake, right? Start something to commit something anti-inflammatory diet. And yes, so it could be that. Also, you can have something to do with because first house also you have Mars. You're going to change your outlook. You're going to change the way you represent yourself in public, and your brand is changing, for example. So you're gonna renew your website, something like that, and the way you look. Maybe you had a beard, right now you shave it off. Long hair, you cut it off if you are a female or even males, right? So yes, that could happen for you as well. All right, then let me see. Sagittarius rising, sun and moon. As you know me, my sun sign is Pisces. I'm a Sagittarius rising, and my moon sign is Leo. So Sagittarius rising, sun and moon, we're going to have that in our fifth house, the super moon and silver over here. So fifth house, anything to do with art, romance, children, anything to do with investment, and even winning something. It is joy. It is unapologetic joy over here. And silver actually declares something really specific. You have to commit to something which is real. Go out in nature, have more fun, right? Kind of situation. Maybe you finish completing something, and that's what's happening with me. I finished my books. Finally, it's formatted, and finally, it could get actually published, right? And it's gonna happen 7 days after this moon, because that is the best electional chart for me. So, yes, anything to do with writing, anything where you can shine, where you can get some kind of fulfillment, because the moon itself is fulfillment, and it is going to trine to Icarus and Medusa. And Icarus going to supercharge something because of Icarus and Medusa is in our first house if you are a Sagittarius rising, right? And it is going to supercharge us. We're going to be bold. We want to perform, right? But we have to learn humility. We have to listen, not to aim very high. For example, even if for investment, when I talk to the people who wants to invest, I was like, you have to have a plan. When are you going to exit the market? Because greed can lead to falling down. So that's very, very important, right? And for example, Medusa is also going to deny access to energy vampires. I do have a lot of energy vampires. People think they own me. All right. I do have clients and very, very demanding sometimes, and they don't consider I have family or, uh, I have to clean and I have my own life. I'm writing also. And, constant, even 1 a.m., I get text messages like, where are you? What are you doing? Can you check it? We are on a party. And can you do this and this? Can you do a reading? And I was like, oh my God, I'm turning myself in. I'm up writing at 1 a.m. And then I get text messages like this. And this is crazy. So this is definitely something to do with like you going to deny access. This is my hours and you done. This is the gate. You can call me, text me, or whatever kind of situation. And Mars is actually in the 12th house for us, and Pluto is in our third house. It is definitely a lot of tension between self-sabotaging behavior and sleep. For example, not stay up watching, binge watching, like revenge. Or some kind of series, Young Sheldon, that I already watched like 2000 times. Just turn yourself to sleep and definitely make sure you have the right sleeps and you can start the next day again and not to get mentally, burn out, and spirituality as well. And also it could bring in some kind of seed of doubts. Seed of doubts. Pluto in the third, that is like doubting something, and it's maybe a spiritual beliefs, and maybe you see some kind of conspiracy, maybe you see some kind of pretend behavior with your own group where you practice Buddhism, Christianity, or anything you practice. And you are like, you know what, I don't want to be part of this group because they disgust me. They preach different what the way they live from. So that kind of it's a cut. It's whatever is a secret drain has to be cut. It has to be controlled. You need boundary, right? So there is joy declaration, right? It's like I have a project, I'm doing something, I'm gonna go back and create a short film, or I'm gonna write songs, or I'm gonna go back to do ceramics, for example, anything to do with kid books or teaching kids as well. But also it is like gatekeeping. Medusa is the gatekeeper, however, and it is just like in Sagittarius, right? It is in your first house. It is like, no, you're not gonna come close to me. I'm not doing this anymore. You have to call me in the in the hours when I am actually working. Yes. So yeah, you're going to cut everything what's draining you. People, friends, maybe Pluto in the third, who are constantly um, what are they doing? Complaining and never positive. You're just like, I'm done over here. I cannot do that anymore. All right. Capricorn rising, sun and moon. It's going to happen in your fourth house, the super moon, with silver, home, family, land, and your emotional foundation, stability. And silver wants a purified base. Maybe you're going to actually create a safe place. Maybe you're going to simplify your life, giving away clutters. Maybe you're going to actually refresh your kitchen, right? And tighten things up and just hire a cleaning lady, right? It also could be like I'm gonna hire a session for my family, a therapy. And Icarus is Medusa is in your 12th house, so actually it is some kind of spiritual practice helping you to end off some kind of addiction, perhaps some kind of self-sabotaging behavior, right? It also going to help you maybe with your sleep pattern as well. Maybe you have to actually have a blackout curtain, something like that, and have maybe you take melatonins right now to sleep deeper or magnesium, but also the pressure cooker is going between Mars 11th house and Pluto in your second house. There could be a group which is actually doesn't value maybe you or maybe taking advantage on you and want free readings or free of your service, right? And you have to get rid of them. You have to put boundaries, right? And tighten your roles, right? Or maybe you have some kind of budget and it is a group and you were part of a country club or whatever, but it was $100,000 for annual, but I know it went up to 50 and you are just like, okay, I'm out. It doesn't worth it, right? All right, some kind of situation like that. And then, definitely it's a home reset, something to do with your bedroom, fix your bedroom, anything to do repairs over there, put the alarms out, and it could be also something to do with insurances as well, because of, there is Pluto as well in the second house, and Pluto is insurance or will. You may be going to have a new power of attorney or beneficiary right now. And Medusa also going to, create something in your which house is Medusa in for you 12th house. So yes, it is going to no the yes, yes, 12th house. So something to do with spirituality, right? Hmm. No, Medusa is actually going to freeze the addiction. It's helping you to cut out addiction and self-sabotaging behavior. All right, Aquarius rising sun and moon. It's going to happen in your third house, the supermoon with silver, anything to do with message media, siblings, neighbors, short trips, technology, car, the routes that you are taking daily. And, silver actually wants some kind of clear communication and commute as well. It want to actually lighten up your commute as well. Uh, Refresh something with, for example, if you have, you can refresh your um, website. You can refresh if you are teaching, your style, for example, or if you're writing something, it's going to help you with your messages, literally with your voice as well. And it could also bring in an end with your car bike. So it is old, it has to be out. You need some kind of different transit and transportation system. Maybe you have to buy a new phone, maybe you have to buy a new car. Uh, Yes, and Medusa is in the 11th house with Icarus over there. So it could be like your audience could be a little bit, like critical. And Icarus is, they want a lot more from you that you can provide right now. Maybe you have to co-host. Maybe you're gonna get some kind of sponsors as well. And Medusa is going to enforce actually community standards, right? Uh, so yeah, and then also Mars is in your 10th house, Pluto is in your first house. It has to do something with your career move, and it is like you have to take a leadership, but not necessarily feel like you are ready for that. And it could be bring in some kind of self-limitation because you have to be on work all the time. And the work, the leadership is very uh, you know uh, overwhelming, for example. So yeah, and you have to put personal boundaries. The CEO is also calling you all the time, even after hours, and you have no time, lunchtime, taking away from you. So make sure you have boundaries over here. The messages, whatever passing, it has to be really, really clear And for example, no business after hours, that could be also really important. It's also like you have to clear out your inbox, or you have to make sure you have some kind of, it has to be something also with your credits, and maybe like credit alarm, like you cannot get hacked, for example. You can do something like that. And maybe you want to increase your credit, and you want to put your rent or whatever on, pay something which is showing you pay the rent, or your whatever, your electricity bill on Credit Karma, and it could go higher up. So you are clearing out things like that as well. But definitely it's going to need to put a lot of personal boundaries as well. All right, Pisces rising, sun and moon. It's actually going to happen. Aries is in your second house, the supermoon with silver. So, money, skills, and self-worth. It is actually bringing in very clear and very shiny self-worth right now. You're going to value yourself. It could be also like you're going to invest in something. You might going to actually invest in silver itself. And it could be some kind of lucky story for you here, because you might going to replace something what didn't work, and you're going to get skilled in something, or it is just a gift, and you're going to monetize that gift, for example. Uh, and Icarus and Medusa is actually in your 10th house, and it's trining with it. So something to do with your career, a stage is opening up for you, and it's going to freeze the stage for you. So it's going to have a promotion. And, it is, Medusa is going to block repetition games, right? It is right. It's not gonna be a trap of glamour over here. It's not going to allow some kind of shady collaboration, or vanity awards. It's going to be real. If you doesn't respect my name, you cannot be close to me. That's it. So and then Mars is in your ninth house, and Pluto is in your 12th house. And anything to do with travel and legal matters and publishing and education could bring in some kind of, you know, issues, maybe. There could have been someone who could steal your writing, or there's kind of ethical issues over here which needs a closure. Maybe you're going to have to seek for a legal matter. Somebody stole something, and maybe wanted to publish your ideas or your books, kind of situation. But because Medusa also blocks the reputation, and not blocks the reputation, locks actually the games with the reputation. You are going to be actually the one who is coming out well from these legal matters. Definitely, if you do anything with publishing, do an NDA. That's very, very important, right? Because of it could be something with the timeline windows, right? You've paid the deposit, but you don't get back from the publisher in time anything, and then you can sue the publisher because they have the fog rate. You can put that on. We call it fog rate. Yes, but it's also could be some kind of career promotion, some kind of pitch, something which is like, okay, I need to talk for myself. I need to be out in the public, and right now I'm going to get, like some kind of amazing opportunity. But make sure you don't want too much, and because of then you can fall like Icarus. So make sure you are listening your intuition, and you're not overachieving, because then it's not gonna pay off, guys. All right. So, there could be also, as I said, a brave career step, but also the ethics with some kind of publishing, YouTubing could be. Yeah, you know what? If you're YouTubing 9th house and 12th house, it could be you are like not seen, because 12th house, um, it's squaring with Pluto. So they are actually censoring your YouTube channels, because maybe you talk about the truth, so you have to find that out, and maybe you have to do something a different way, where you are not going to be somehow censored and you can monetize yourself. But there could be also like you need some kind of new ID, new documentation, something to do with renew a license, perhaps, right? So it could be that as well, guys, for you. All right, that's it. And I hope, like it was a little bit longer than I anticipated to be, but I hope you get a clear vision over here, what's going to happen, and how could you actually unfold that for your advantage. But yes, that's what's going to happen during the moon. Make sure we are, praying, we are moving something with that Sabian symbol. You practice some spirituality, which is helping you hold on to your faith and hold on to hope. That's very important. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening and being here with me. Please share the videos and thank you and engage in communication. Usually I do that and I answer for everyone, maybe in 2 weeks, but I try to do as much as I can. And because it's going to help me eventually stop YouTube to censorship me, hopefully, really should. And also, I wanted to tell you guys, I'm going to do a lot of collaboration tomorrow. I'm doing Europe with Astro Victor and Hungary and France and Romania and the NATO UN. And then I'm going to do Lothian on Wednesday, and that's going to be the shift between East and West and the financial part of how to invest, what to invest as well. And I always I'm going to publish the second part with Krasi because we did 2 videos, and then Ian coming again really soon. And I'm gonna have another guy, not just Moses, but Ryan as well. So I collaborated with a lot of people, and I will be teaching in Synchronicity University for Nadiesha, and I'm gonna do a video in 2 weeks like that. So I'm collaborating with a lot of people. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much to being here. Bye for now.